everybody. Today's workshop is going to be on finding and applying for undergraduate research opportunities. So, this is going to be accompanied by a Google form or a Microsoft form, depending on the program that you are in, that will have links to places that you can search and additional questions for you. But first, I'm going to just give a brief presentation into a little bit more about how you can look into undergraduate research areas. For high school students, I'll mention a few things about high schoolers. This is going to be geared towards undergrads, but that does not mean that high school positions do not exist. You just have to search for them in a slightly different way. But definitely use the resources that do exist if you are a high schooler. Use these ways to search for open applications and learn a lot more about research along the way. So the biggest one, and a link that you'll have in your form if you are a University of Washington student, is the undergraduate research programs research opportunities database. When I was an undergraduate at Arizona State University, our engineering program had one that was called FURY, or Undergraduate Research Initiative. Most larger research universities do have some consolidated website that posts major opportunities. So that's a great place to go to. The UW also has a lot of amazing resources to tell you how to apply. They say identify what research is currently happening. I'll talk about that a little bit later. They have some suggestions for what not to do. They say don't send an email to every faculty member in your major area of interest. I will admit that is how I got my undergraduate research position, so it can work, but I got way more no's and no responses in that way. But not giving up is huge. But so once you're on this page for UW, you can go to the database. You do have to have a UW ID to get in. I'm already logged in as Holly Helmbrecht's student. And then you can see just a whole bunch of undergraduate research opportunities, and you can see when they were posted, and you can sort by department. It is okay to do research outside of your department. There might be some labs that don't want that, but I was a chemical engineering student undergrad, and I did research in a biomedical engineering lab. We have some undergrads in our lab who are electrical engineering, computer science. A majority of them are chemi, but it really is going to depend on your lab. So say that I was interested in, I'm just going to pick one. Say that something that seems similar to us. Say that I was interested in this bioengineering purpose, then I might click on the application. I might read a little bit more about the project description. I might read a little bit more about this area. Something that's really helpful in here is this a paid position or a work study? I would say that a lot of undergraduate research positions are not paid. At University of Washington, there is a Mary Gates program. If you are an undergrad, it's quite competitive, but it can give you some money. When I was an undergrad, there was also an option. I was already in a lab working unpaid, and then I was able to apply for it, and I did get some money. Some ways that you can learn a little bit more about this lab is if you actually looked up Paul Yeager bioengineering. To find more about their research interests, their research descriptions, and often they have their own lab website. And that's how you could really see who's the personnel, what do they teach, and a little bit more into their major current projects. So just to give you a little bit of a leg up in your application. If you're looking through this, you might see, oh, I don't see like a place to apply. That here you have a contact email. Sometimes they'll have a process, sometimes they'll have a Google form, sometimes you might apply through a portal. In this case, that you're just going to cold email someone, you're going to email them, be professional, write what you're interested in, write a little bit about who you are, so what year in school you are in, as well as a little bit in what you're currently studying, why their lab is interesting to you, bring in the project description, bring in methodologies, possibly bring in that you read one of their papers that you can find on their website, and then say, I'd be interested in talking more about this opportunity. Do you have the opportunity to meet? They might send you to a PhD student, they might send you to a research scientist, or they might meet with you themselves, but that's a really great short and sweet email. Doesn't need to be super complicated. Definitely be respectful. I would definitely call them like Dr. Yeager in your email. So the undergraduate research opportunity is one of them. You can filter for anything that's paid or a work study, and you can also filter by the different campuses, so that's really nice. I've never personally found a research opportunity in this way. I found my research opportunities in the more classic way. I've had my students explore some research pages before, but often what I would do is I would go to a department that I was interested in. I would click on research in the UW Chemie department world. I'm quite familiar with the website, but I'm very interested in health and biotechnology. So often what I will do is I'll click on all of the professors and I'll see if they have positions. So I already have 3 pulled up. They're just 3 groups that I know quite well and 3 groups I know often take in undergrad. So in the Nance lab, what I hope you've learned about a lot, we're being in our program, we actually have 2 places you can learn. So you have personnel available positions. And if you click on that, I think I was actually already there. Then you can see that we have the textile program, what most of the people watching this video are involved in, and that in April 2023, we filled our 2 undergraduate positions. But that occasionally we do recruit new students, and so you can check back to see that. We also have information about MSTPs and graduate students. The DeForest group, he has a group members page, so you can see, oh, he has postdocs, graduate students, and undergrads, but he doesn't have a very clear way of, if you're interested as an undergrad, in how do you get involved. Typically at that point, then you just go to the contact page and you just send him an email asking if he has any research positions coming up or currently. In the same way, be respectful. In the same way, talk about what part of their research you're interested in. And it's okay, and you have to be okay with them saying no or maybe not responding. But if you do this enough, you will find a position. And then finally, I just want to show the Lilo Pozo group. They're in materials. I love Lilo's group. And so she also has a members tab, so you can see that she has postdocs, PhD students, and that she also has undergrads in her lab. And if you go onto her contact page, she explicitly says for prospective undergraduate students, contact Dr. Pozo at dpozo@uw.edu to be connected with graduate students for available projects. So Dr. Pozo, Lilo will put you in connection with grad students that are based on the research area that you are interested in, and it's a much more flexible process. So there's not any one specific way to do this, but you have to be a little bit comfortable exploring on research pages and on different resources to get involved with undergraduate research. And so now I urge you to go to the Google form in order to practice some of this exploration, but also don't be nervous. You don't have to know anything going in, and it's just a really good opportunity for you to get to know more about research areas you may be interested in. Okay, thanks everybody.